Hello everyone, welcome to crochetjhook Crochet and More. Today's video is a yarn review of two very environmental friendly yarns from the company Katia. If you're not familiar with this company, this is a yarn company based in Spain. They do have a website. In case you are within the European Union, then you can order directly from their website. If you live anywhere else in the world, you can get their yarns on Amazon or different other websites, as well as local stores. They do have stores in the US and Canada which hold this brand. I will link in the description box below this video a few websites that I found which ship this yarn internationally, and I will also link the homepage from the company Katia, where in case you don't live in the European Union, you can check for stores around your area that hold that yarn. Those two yarns that I am reviewing today each have something recycled in them. This one is called Katia Recycled, and it is a blend of organic cotton and recycled polyester. And the other one is a blend of wool and recycled polyester. Now, when they say recycled polyester, they mean polyester made out of recycled plastic bottles. Each one of the Katia Earth balls of yarn contains at least 3 recycled plastic bottles. That is extremely environmental friendly. Those plastic bottles are being recycled into yarn, which you can then use to make different items, and they end up being worn instead of being thrown. I think that is very, very important. So I'm going to talk about the Katia Recycled first. I have 3 different colors here, and as I've said, these are a blend of organic cotton and recycled polyester. Let's look at the label. This yarn is made in Italy. It is 74% cotton and 26% polyester. There are 140 meters or 153 yards per ball, and those come in a 50-gram ball. I pulled out the label so I can show you that this yarn is machine washable by 30 degrees, but you cannot put it in the dryer. The recommended needle size is a 6 to 7, that's 4 to 4.5 millimeters. And the recommended hook size is a US E or G, that is a 3.5 to 4 millimeter. It does say that you will need 7 balls of this yarn to make an adult size sweater. I got myself 3 colors. This beautiful green color is color number 108. This mustard color that's coming very true to color on my camera is color number 109. And this beige color is color number 102. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about the price of the yarn before we go in further. I wanted to get these specific 3 colors because I had something very specific in mind for them. However, when I looked at their website, they were not all available, so I ended up ordering them from different places. I ordered these 2 colors from one website, and then I ordered this color off of another website. And the reason I mention it is because there is a very large difference in price. So when it comes to this specific company, when it comes to the Katia yarn, if you don't shop at their website and you get their yarns from different websites, then I highly recommend looking through all the websites first in order to find the best price for yarn. Because I ended up buying this one first, and it cost me 5.5 euros for 50 grams of yarn. Then I found these 2 colors on a different website, and on that website I ended up paying 2.70 euros for each one of the balls. That's a huge difference in price for exactly the same yarn. Later on, I was a little bit bummed that I didn't look at that website first. I could have gotten all 3 for the same price. Now to talk about the yarn itself. Now, this yarn is categorized as a lightweight 3. However, I feel that it is on the very thin side of a lightweight 3. I would even dare and call it a sport weight. It is soft. It's not extremely soft, but it is something that I would consider a summer yarn. I can definitely see summer items like tank tops or something of that sort, swimsuit cover done in this yarn. It is very light and airy, and I want to show you how it's spun. I pulled out the end of the ball and I wanted to show you it is almost as if it's a tube of yarn wrapped around a middle cord, and I'm not sure you can see that, but there is like a white dot in the middle. This is the inside of this cord, and on the outside you have this beige color that is actually what you're going to see from the yarn. So it is sort of like filled with a white cord, and then on the outside you have this net of the beige cord. So I do think that once it's made into a garment and stretched out, when you work with it, you won't see the middle anymore. But when you look up close and the yarn is not stretched, and you can kind of see the white peeking in between. I think it's very interesting. It gives like dimensions to this yarn, and I believe it will be very nice to work with. So I'm going to get my hook and make a small batch to show you how it works up. I got up my hook and I chose the 3.5mm crochet hook because I do feel that the yarn is more of a sport weight than an actual lightweight 3 yarn, and so I thought that I'm going to use the smaller hook recommended on the label, and it turned out to be the right choice. Now look at this. I just made 2 rows of single crochet with the green yarn. And look at that stitch definition. I think it will carry any patterned stitch very, very well. I'm just gonna do a few double crochets just to show you. Look at how the yarn is gliding, and because it is not spun, it is not a few cords spun together, it is more like a chain or a tube, then there is no risk of your hook going through the yarn, tangling through it, it coming apart, it unraveling or anything like that. And look at that beautiful stitch definition. The yarn is sort of gliding on my hook. I am not finding any problems with the way that it works up. And I really like the way those stitches come out. Look at that stitch definition. Just think of doing cables with that yarn. It will pop up beautifully. And it doesn't have a shine to it, but it does have kind of a stonewash look because of that white string going in the middle and that sort of fishnet-like of the green yarn. So it's a little bit like the white in the middle of the cord is coming out in different places where the outer side of the cord was stretched. So I really, really like the way this looks. I mean, when you look at this ball of yarn, it's not very easy to imagine that this is what will come out of it. I love this. Look at that. So now that we've seen how this yarn works up and I told you a little bit more about it, let me tell you a little bit more about this yarn. Now this one is called Katia Earth, and it already says here on the label that each one of the balls of yarn have at least 3 plastic bottles worked into it. As I've said before, I really love that. I love that you work with something that you also feel that has a cause. Even if you're just making a shawl with it, just think you're wearing it instead of throwing it away, instead of polluting, instead of it being dumped in the ocean. It's around your neck, it is on your head, it is a bag. I love that feeling. So when we look at the tag, the first thing we see, it does say it is super wash. 50 grams per ball, 225 meters or 246 yards. It is 52% virgin wool and 48% polyester. And as we've said, that 48% polyester is those recycled bottles. You can machine wash it by 30 degrees, but do not put it in the dryer. It does have wool in it, so you should remember that when coming to wash your finished item. The recommended needle size is, once again, 3.5 to 4.5 millimeters. This is a US size 5 to 7. And the recommended hook size is a USD or an E, that's a 3 to 3.5 millimeters. It does say that you will need 5 balls of this yarn to make an adult sweater. I find it a little bit odd. This one has more yardage in it than this one. Although both of them are 50-gram balls and both of them are classified as the same yarn weight. But this one looks and feels more like a sport weight, and this one looks and feels more like a actual lightweight 3 yarn. I don't know, I guess it's the components within the yarn, or maybe we will see it once we start working this yarn up. Maybe it stretches and gets a little bit lighter. Let's look at the cord of this yarn. So once again, I pulled out the cord for you guys, and look here in this yarn, we don't have that white bit in the middle. It is just a chain spun tube yarn, and you can see the fuzz. This fuzz is the wool component in the yarn. It is very, very soft. When I hold this ball of yarn in my hand, I can squish it. It is amazing. It does feel like wool, and it does have wool in it, so in case you're allergic, you might want to opt for this version. However, if you do work with wool, this one is so cozy. I would actually maybe say that this yarn is the winter version of this yarn. I would use the recycled yarn for summer projects and the earth yarn more for winter projects. I definitely have a feeling that this will make a more cuddly, warm item, and this will make a more light, airy item. And that is because the recycled is an organic cotton blend and the earth is a wool blend. So let's work up a few rows with the Katia earth and see what it feels like. So here it is again, a small batch that I made. You can see the first 2 rows of single crochet, and I have started a row of double crochets. There is a nice stitch definition here, but because of the wool component in the yarn, the stitch definition is not as clear as the one with the cotton in it. That is normal though, that has nothing to do with this specific yarn. Yarn that has such a high component of wool in it has a lot of fuzz, and it turns to sometimes blur the stitches. However, you can very clearly still see them. It might not be as clear as on the other yarn, but you can still probably work nice patterns with this. I wouldn't do something very complex in 3D, but I would do fans, for example, star stitch, that kind of stuff. So this looks very nice, I think. It does have a bit of a shine to it, but it's not very strong. I think it's shining more on my camera than it actually is in real life. The other one was a little bit more shiny. And also, it does not have this stone wash look to it like the other one, because there is no center cord here in a different color underneath. So all you see is this beige color of the yarn itself. It is very nice to work with, I must say. I mean, when I work with it, it is gliding, and you do not have to worry about your yarn tangling because of that tube shape of the yarn. It's very soft, but I do have to say that as I have made this small batch, I mean, it didn't take me a long time, no more than 2 minutes, and my whole workstation have filled up with this fuzz. Let's talk a little bit about the price of the Katia Earth. You can again get it in different places, and you should compare prices as I've said before. But I got those 2 balls of Katia Earth for €3.30 each. That is a good price for the amount of yarn and the kind of yarn that it is. And I do think that you can get it more expensive or less expensive on different websites. I personally checked out 2 different ones, but you should definitely look at more before buying them. So I hope this review was helpful for you, and I hope you enjoyed getting to know these yarns together with me. This was the first time for me working with these 2 kind of yarns as well, so I did feel as if we sort of have this experience together, and I could share it with you as I touch those yarns for the first time. I feel that both of them are very good choices for the specific projects that I mentioned. I would use the cotton polyester blend for summer items and the wool polyester blend for winter items. There is a large variety of colors available from both of them. I did only get 2 colors of the Katia Earth and 3 colors of the Katia Recycled, but there is a very large variety out there. I personally was very impressed with these 2 yarns. For what they are, they come out very high quality like. I really enjoyed working with them. It was very pleasant. I didn't feel like I had too much tangling. I even had to frog a little bit to get the balls back in order, and frogging went out very well as well. So I'm just saying, I had a good experience with these yarns and I would highly recommend them. I would, however, consider the fact that they are a bit lighter weight than they are classified. So even though it does say on the balls, get this and that amount in order to make an adult sweater, I would still consider getting maybe a little bit more just to be on the safe side. I love the colors, and as I've said, there are many more colors on the website. I like this yarn for summer. I think it will be great and airy as a summer wearable, and I really love this yarn for winter. Even working with it, my hands already got warm, and I really think that it will be cuddly and cozy and keep you warm in the winter time. So let me know in the comments if you found this review helpful, if you found it useful, and if you have worked with any of these yarns before. I would love to hear what you made with them and how your experience with them went. I think it will also be useful for anyone else watching this video if they can read through the comments and hear from other people as well and not just me. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!